So when you take rejection in a healthy way, you then kind of like progress and move on and go, okay, cool, I can take that criticism and I'm gonna figure out like how I need to change my email or portfolio, and then I'm gonna send it out again, and I'll do a follow up with that person perhaps as well. But I would just like basically send as many emails out as possible. The one of them has to hit at some point.
Probability boys.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I send 50 out, like I might get 2 replies.
From CNR JUTA DE BEER, imini umsindisi si, umvelisi mnqango umelisi wesizwe, formerly known as Lwazi Madonsela, bringing you a show about creative entrepreneurs live from the landmark that not only birth SA street culture but also formalize the street hustle. On today's episode, we have
Russell Abrams. Yay, Abe. Where does the name come from?
Yay,
I'm curious because I know Abe is Abraham, your surname.
Yay, Abe. It's basically, those like old school, those old school like painting companies where it'd be like Abrams and Sons.
Yeah.
And I always wanted a name that was like celebrating the family name. So a quick way to do that was like Yay for Abe or Abrams.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. I actually just wanted 3 letters.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I was like, Yay, Abe. It sounds cool. It has a nice ring to it. And then it stuck. And it became a business.
A whole company, a studio
company
that sends invoices and stuff.
A studio, me. Yeah.
I mean, that's everyone.
I used to get so much shit for that because there were people that were like, oh, you're the guy that says we and you're a one-man band. And I was like, you know what? But that's fine as well. And now I've kind of like relinquished that idea, and I'll go like, it's me, and if I need people on, I can hire freelancers, which is amazing. But a lot of imposter syndrome in the beginning.
For me, I still identify as we, even though it's just a one-man band, purely because it's like there's Lwazi the person, and then there's stage name Umsindisi, where it's like that's the creative, the dude does cool shit, and then there's business, which is 348. So for me, it's like it's important to also operate as we, because it helps me pull back and pull it in.
But also like brands and companies love the we, right? It's more reassuring.
It's like there's more people being paid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, cool, like there is a production manager. If that's yourself, it's fine. It's like, okay, cool, like there's graphic designers and and it's like, if you do all of that, that's fine. Or if I do all of that, that's fine. Or if I bring people in, even better. A lot of young cats coming up, and then it's also like educating these young guys about the industry, because the industry will chow you up. Like,
I wanted to ask that question because like now you like yay, right?
Yeah.
But how you maintaining your humility? You've seen your work is scaling now, because like it's really H&M. It's not like you're doing H&M, you're doing Markham's, you're doing this, you're doing that. You literally touching. At some stage, you're gonna hit all 5 senses if you haven't already. Like we're gonna see it, we're gonna feel it, etc., etc.
Yeah.
How do you keep your humility and still understand that the next kid needs you?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the work, right? So when you, I think the problem is when you put yourself above the work.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It definitely works for some people, but I think when you put yourself above the work starts to slack, and it's like, so like, to me, when I have done that, when I go, no, I'm above, the work comes after, and I think like I lost a piece of myself there, or like I lost the drive to work. And there was a period it's so funny, if you go on my Instagram and you just go a bit down, you'll see the colors start like washing out a bit, and like that period there was where I thought I was like the coolest, like I've peaked.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, I'm fucking cool now. And at some point I was like, wait, like take a step back, assess everything. And I think the main thing is just like, because the thing is, if your work is what you're always chasing, your taste and your work, like I heard this cool analogy once where it's like your artist eye and your work.
Okay.
And over time, or when you start out, your artist eye is here. Like, this is the level. These are the artists you look up to, and you want to reach this level. Your work is over here.
Yeah.
Eventually, your work will meet your eye and your taste. This isn't where you want to stay, right?
Yeah.
Your eye needs to then evolve, and this constant like chase needs to happen. And And I think that's how like, that's something I've been like focusing on. So it's like I get comfortable and I go like, okay, cool, I can do this style or this work quickly. It's like, how do I then like develop from that, and how do I like, yeah, just develop and grow as a person, as an artist. And I think keeping like that analogy in mind, it's helped me so much, I guess, because it's like I know the work's good, but I know it can get better. And that's what I want.
That's like, what keeps you in the game.
I think so. And that keeps me like, I think for me that's something that keeps me grounded, because it's like, nah, you're not that hard.
But how do you tell yourself you're not that hard, and you just walked out, you're driving, you're like, oh shit, another one. I didn't know we had another one.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I probably just get like awkward and go like, ooh, that's cool. And it's like trying to walk away and do something else. But I definitely pat myself on the back, pat myself on my back a few times. That out of body experience moment where you just like step back and go like, cool, well done, move on.
I'm currently suffering from that. It's like you set a goal and then you achieve it. But now, because at the rate you're setting these goals and the rate you're achieving things, starts feeling like it was supposed to happen. You stop existing in the reality of that. Yo, you're that guy now. You're working towards the steps you've been praying for. How does it feel for you to live in one of your prayers? This is like a moment for you at some stage when you're in varsity. You're like, I just want to live off my art.
No, for sure, bro. Like, I think for a long time I was like, that's the funny part is, right? It's like, it's this fight of like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make sure that like people recognize my work. I'm going to make sure that like I get the bag I deserve, in a sense. But the hard part is getting to that, right? So I think I've been freelancing now for straight out of college. So I graduated 2014, 2015. So I've had about like 8 years now. I think I have about 8 years in the game. Started freelancing straight out of college. Had a few gigs, but it wasn't easy. Like a lot of broke days. Lots of broke days in the yay of life. And the funny part about all of that is like I remember going to dinner with like family or something, and we were grabbing a burger to eat or something. And when the bill came, it was like 150 rand, and I was like, whew, good Lord, how are we gonna, Russell, how are we paying for this? And that happened a lot. But people, like a lot of people don't see that. And it's like, I think a lot of younger guys see all the older homies now like doing their thing, in a sense, and they want that, but then like not understanding that there's this climb that needs to happen. And before that climb happens, and before people actually recognize you, because your work can be cool, and there's a lot of talented people in like South Africa that make amazing work, and their levels up here, but they like just haven't got the eyes of the right art directors and the right creative directors on their work. So what happens is the starving artist syndrome, or whatever you want to call it, effect kicks in, and you just got to get through that.
How do you get through that?
Damn, bro, like it's a hard one. It's tough. What I did was when I started 5 years ago now, I made sure I emailed probably like 10. Sorry. My name's on the billboard behind you.
Oh, shit.
But I made sure I emailed 5 to 10. Let's say 5 to 10 art directors, art buyers, producers, or creative directors every day for like a year or two probably. And without fail, I would like go on LinkedIn or go on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, search for these, like, let's choose Ogilvy, for example. And I go, cool, Ogilvy, in Google, Ogilvy, art directors, and then I'd say email. And I'd see like who pops up. I'd then like go on a crazy, and I would try to like email them personally, each person. So it's like, I know who you are, but I'm also like trying to work with you.
Yeah.
And that would go on every day. Every morning for about 2 hours, I would just send emails out. You don't always get a reply. Most times I didn't get a reply, or I would get the hard rejection of like, no, sorry, not a fit. I think when you're able to be rejected and you don't take it as a personal attack on you as a person or as on your character. Yeah, so when you take rejection in a healthy way, you then kind of like progress and move on and go, okay, cool, I can take that criticism and I'm gonna figure out like how I need to change my email or portfolio, and then I'm gonna send it out again. And I'll do a follow-up with that person perhaps as well. But I would just like basically send as many emails out as possible. The one of them has to hit at some point.
Probability
like,
boys.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if I send 50 out, like I might get 2 replies. But those are relationships I can start building on. And I used to go to like, maybe like 5 years ago, I'd go to advertising agencies, ask if I can meet your entire creative team and take them through my portfolio.
How?
You'd be so shocked as to like how many times they'd say like, yeah, cool.
How are you, wait, are you sending the email saying I'm trying to meet your whole creative team?
Yeah. It's a funny thing.
You are not scared of anything.
I think I'm okay with getting told like no now. And I've learned that. So I would just go out there and like, I took a portfolio full of personal work because I had no like brand projects that I was allowed. Maybe it was through other studios, so I couldn't share that. But for the most part, it was just like, hey, I drew this in my bedroom. Can I take you through all of these drawings? And I think there was one time when I had like 20 people in a room and I just got to show them my work and they all said like, oh, it's amazing. I didn't get a project from them until like 4 years later. And they were like, oh, remember that time you came here? Like, we like your work. We finally found a project that fits you. And that's the thing, right? So it's like, if you can have your name and your portfolio and your work sitting on like 100 art directors' tables, 10 to 1 at some point they're gonna remember you when a project comes in. And if you look at how people find work overseas and with artist representation and stuff in London or New York, wherever, those reps are doing the exact same thing. They just cold calling people, and they know how to structure emails. They know how to approach people and brands. Perhaps they have a pitch, like an actual campaign idea. But I mean, it's just that concept. And it's like, I guess I was doing that as a kid, a lot less professional in a sense. But I think
you did it.
I did it. And it's like, it was a lot of like tedious admin, a lot of no's, but eventually I made a lot of like solid relationships. And I have them today as well, and I try to maintain them.
How do you maintain a relationship? I've been on a quest of understanding how do you maintain relationships, especially working relationships, without crossing boundaries and still keeping it work.
Do you know, it might be weird. It might just be like my personality, but like I see a lot of my clients as like friends. I'm like, no, like I'm your buddy now.
Yeah.
And for me, like the way I try to maintain it is either by just staying in touch, so via Instagram, and I'll get involved in your life. Like I'll comment like, your baby's cute. You know what I mean?
But that check though.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I think it's like such a genuine interaction where I'm like, I genuinely care about a lot of these people, and I'm like, I'm glad you got that promotion. I'm glad you're leading this team now.
Yeah.
For me, it also helps to like be your friend in that sense, but it's like, it's never about
the monetary value. It's also seeing your growth.
Yeah, it's just like I'm glad to see them like win, and I'm proud of them, and I'll maybe grab a coffee with you at some point. It's like if I have an idea, I hope that I'd like through these relationships that I've built, I can go to people and be like, hey, listen, I have this idea. Trust me, it could be cool. Give me a 10 minutes to just like sit down and talk to you. And I think like people end up listening Yeah, I think so. Because it's not about this, like, yes, the bag and the money and everything. That's important.
But it's about the human experience.
Yeah, and like work. Like, I just want to do good work. Like, yeah, I really, really just want to do good work. And like, I guess it's about inspiring people, but it's also about pushing my own boundaries and trying to elevate. Because I think like everything will always then become. I think at some point, like, I'll always inspire a younger generation or like a younger person, perhaps.
Yeah.
And that brings me a lot of joy. And I get to make my dad proud and my mom proud and my fiance proud. And that's cool.
How 8 years into freelancing, how are you maintaining not living your best life? Because you can live your best life, but you're still a freelancer. You still have to.
Yeah.
You taking care of your own medical aid. You taking care of your own rent.
Yeah.
Property. Whatever. How are you doing that? Because a lot of people run into like, oh, I just did 3 collabs this year. I'm good for a minute.
We're boosting.
Boosting now.
I don't know. I used to get caught up in that. I used to like buy people drinks and whatever and go out and have fun. Uncle Russ has learned the hard way that that's not fun. Like, it's like there's a lot to learn. And there's a lot for like young people of color to learn about like getting money in and managing money in that kind of sense. Because it's like when I started getting my first checks in, I was just buying sneakers. I was like, oh, yeah, I got this new whatever. I just got this. I just got that. And it's like, someone once told me, it's like, why do you think colored men buy like fast cars, as an example?
Yeah.
As soon as they get their first paycheck. And I was just like, oh, why? And it's like, yeah, because it's like, that's like I guess like car culture in colored culture is like such a big thing. And then it's like, that's what you want. So you buy it and you get that debt and it starts like fucking with your finances for the most part. But it's because it's this unobtainable thing.
Yeah.
And you're growing up and you're looking at these cars, but your parents can't afford it. And then when you finally get that like paycheck that can help you out, just blow it.
The whole thing. I
did it. so that's why I was such a like I experienced that and I was just like, damn, like it's a dagger. And I've learned the hard way. My fiance is amazing with money and she's taught me so much. So now I save, which is fun. Like I really it's so funny, but I love saving now.
To round up the beautiful conversation with Uncle Russ, Abe. The man who saves, the man who's planning future now.
Yeah.
Win BRAAM, the name of the podcast is Juta De Beer. And the whole point of Juta De Beer is to give everyone who's been inspired by the space and all the other spaces that inspire creativity and help creatives grow. Do you, in your personal perspective, think we still need landmarks like this where kids can just come in for free and experience the whole culture?
Yeah, definitely. I think spaces like this, it's important. The only other time you find a space like this is when a brand rents a room out and lets people just come and chill there. Is this by a brand?
No.
Okay,
it's
amazing.
Independent.
Yeah, exactly.
But brands come on board.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's just like, this is the authentic experience, right?
Yeah.
So more of these kind of spaces need to happen, and brands definitely like they need to like put your money here. That allows for more work to be made, I guess, and the right work. I mean, like artists, we need funding to do the things we need. But I think, you know, like this reminds me of like the podcasts I used to listen to when I was like studying, and it's like listening to these the guys in New York talk about their lives, and it's like through your podcast I've been like deep diving into all these other creatives and like their spaces and like how they operate, and it opens up a lot of doors and like knowledge to people that don't have access to that. Perhaps it's like, I don't know how Seth works. This gives me
an access to Seth, understanding the obstacles he went through.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that's the idea of like, you know, with these kind of hubs and spaces, that it allows for like mentors to like actually mentor, right?
Yeah.
And it's like above this, workshops can happen and everything else. But I think, it's amazing. These spaces are needed, and if ever you need like Uncle Ras to get involved with workshops or anything like that, like that's something I would love to facilitate at some point.
Brands, you heard. We have Uncle Ras on
yes. board. H&M, come through.
What's that one? Suzuki, come through.
Suzuki.
Adidas, we need clothes. Everyone, come through.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, man. Like, I guess like brands have power, and like that's
they have power to empower our communities.
Yeah.
But for me, more than anything, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. One, so the platform can grow.
Yeah.
And more Uncle Russells can come to the show.
Yeah, exactly.
So more people can see it. And then on Spotify, comment like 5 stars, same as Apple. But most importantly, what's Uncle Russell's word to the youth?
The word to the youth. Oof. I always say this, I guess, but it's like persistence and patience that goes a long way. And I think giving yourself time to grow, to get to where you need to be, is an amazing like gift and talent. I don't know, and then with persistence, like just it's a head down type of approach where you just like work and you just do your thing and you don't worry about like the next person or anything like that. So for me, it's like persistence and patience helped me a hell of a lot, and I think more people need to be like kinder to themselves and more patient with themselves. And sorry, can I touch on something? The other end of this whole spectrum, right? And it's like I think something a lot of us like take for granted or like look over is that the creative industry is such a privileged space.
Yeah.
And it's like it's unsettling half the time. Like I think about it, and it's like to get your parents to like understand that, hey, I'm gonna draw pictures for a living. It's like
that's an art form on its own.
Exactly. So, but I think this is where gatekeepers can kind of like help the situation, and it's like illustrators that are doing things need to open doors for people that don't have that access right now. I think we can. I try my best. I can do better, but I think that's a whole other conversation that never happens. But there's a kid now in varsity sitting next to a kid with a MacBook, and he has to stay late at the labs till 2 a.m. Like, you tell me who's getting a better mark. You know what I mean? It's like the one dude's tired. Like, he's been sitting at the lab. He's fighting for it. So it's a tricky one, but I think anyway, that's access is a thing, and I think that's another conversation. And
Uncle Russell, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming through.
Thank you so much, brother.
Appreciate this.
Appreciate it.
You had a busy day. All the best.
Yeah, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Amazing.